the single calculation to find out what you really make. Do you remember fractions? I learned them back in 4th grade in a moldy classroom with flickering fluorescent lights in my elementary school. Pink chalk dust scrawled across blackboards showing us how 1/2 can be written as 1/2, or 3/4 can be written as 3/4, with 3 being the numerator and 4 being the denominator. As in, I sat on the couch in sweatpants watching TV all Saturday night and ate 3/4 of a pepperoni pie. Well, the Harvard salary of $120,000 is a fraction too. It means you make $120,000 over 1 year of work, with $120,000 as the numerator and 1 year of work as the denominator. That sounds great, but there's one little problem with that fraction. Nobody works every single hour of the year. Therefore, it doesn't make sense talking about how much money you make over an entire year of work. That makes salaries sound like giant cardboard paychecks handed out on New Year's Eve with hearty handshakes. Congrats, Samson. You blew away your sales numbers for the past 12 months. After a solid year of grinding it out every single day, you have finally earned this, your annual paycheck. But it doesn't work that way. We don't earn big fat dollars for years of work. We earn tiny little dollars for hours of work. When I had my first babysitting job, I worked for $5 an hour. Pretty sweet deal for watching Alf with a couple of 8-year-olds while eating unlimited cheese strings. Then I did yard work for my parents for $10 an hour. That was generous of them, since the going rate for raking leaves and shoveling driveways was lower than that. Although I did help them avoid pesky health insurance by getting paid under the table. Some of my friends did construction for $12 an hour. Some lifeguarded pools for $16 an hour. Point is, every single job is paid by the hour. Some are 40 hours a week, some are 80, some are 120. But no matter how much money you're making, the numerator is how much you get, and the denominator is how much you work. Every single job is paid by the hour. Harvard Business School grads make double or triple the money a lot of people make, but they often work double or triple the hours too. When you work that much, it's harder to find time to shovel the driveway, play with your kids, or plant your garden, so maybe you hire people on the cheap to do those things for you. You will still have fun. Frankly, the money you're making can afford luxury vacations and expensive restaurants. You may even have more fun, but there's less time for fun. Your third bucket disappears. Think about whether it's important to you to feel the pride of a freshly shoveled driveway, the joy of watching your kids discover a new word, or see the tulips you planted in the fall finally bloom in the spring. There's nothing wrong with either life, but think about the life you want. How does a teacher or retail assistant manager make more than a Harvard MBA? Let's figure it out. Let's compare a Harvard MBA with 2 very common jobs, an assistant manager at a retail store and an elementary school teacher. When we do the math and when we compare how many hours they work a week, and we parse it all the way down to how much they make per hour, it turns out that all 3 jobs make $28 per hour. Where did I get the numbers from? Well, teachers are scheduled for 7-hour school days, usually 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., with typically an hour off for lunch. Let's round that up to 30 working hours a week. But we all know how hard teachers work. We know it's way more than that. My dad is a teacher, my wife Leslie is a teacher, and they bring work home. The average teacher does an hour or 2 of work every single night. Marking, prepping, coaching a team. So I added 10 hours a week for that, and I added in the amount of vacation time they have throughout the year, including the summer holidays. Retail assistant store managers are typically scheduled for 40-hour work weeks, but it's a tough job. They end up working before or after shift sometimes. There are questions, issues pop up, people call them at home. So I added 10 hours a week for that. And the 85 hours for Harvard MBAs? It's a ballpark average, based on my data, research, and personal experience. Working on consulting gigs in a Chicago hotel room or slaving away on an investment banking deal doesn't exactly give you free evenings or weekends. Although these numbers are generally accurate, of course there are exceptions. Maybe you're a teacher who works 85 hours a week, or you're a Harvard MBA who works 40. But stick with me here, because the secret still has meaning for you. What's the bottom line? They all make $28 an hour. So how do you make more money than a Harvard MBA? 2 ways. 1, work more hours than they do and make way more per year. Or 2, work way less hours than they do and make less money per year. This works because when you overvalue your time, you make more money by working less hours and earning more dollars per hour. But wait, am I telling you to work less? Absolutely not. My point isn't that you should suddenly dial down your interests, passion, or career. My point is to calculate how much you make per hour and know this number. Remember this number. Have this number in your head. I have friends who work around the clock as downtown lawyers, and they joke that when I do the math, I actually make less than minimum wage. They're right, and frankly, I don't understand them. Do not make less than minimum wage. The way to make more money than a Harvard MBA isn't to get your annual salary over $120,000 or $150,000 or even $500,000. It's to measure how much you make per hour and overvalue you, so you're spending time working on only things you enjoy. The average life expectancy in our world today is 70 years, and we sleep for a third of that. That means you have 400,000 waking hours in your life total. You have 400,000 hours to spend in your life total. Understand how much a Harvard MBA really makes and overvalue you, so every single hour of your working life is spent doing something you love.